Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of The Penguin. It was called Bliss. And as it starts, Victor visits his girlfriend briefly before visiting his family, and he seems to be from a good, stable, working class family. He urges his dad to ask for a raise from his boss, but his dad says he's happy with his pay before Victor goes off to be with his girlfriend and his other friends, whom his father disapproves of. As he's talking with his girlfriend on a rooftop, they witness the beginning of a city fireworks show, but then a bunch of explosions go off across the city as the events of the end of the Batman unfold, and his family is apparently killed. After this flashback, Victor and Penguin discuss their new alliance with Sophia, and Penguin realizes he never discussed Victor's salary with him and gives him $1,000, saying that that's what he'll make every week, telling him that in the future he has to ask for what he wants to let people know he's serious. So he asked for 2,000 a week, to which Penguin responded by saying, "That's what I'm talking about, but no." Sophia arrives at Penguin's place as she and Oz are off somewhere together with Victor driving. Victor has a very awkward conversation with Sophia in which he gilds the lily a bit about how he came to be in Penguin's employ and then fails to operate a lighter correctly when trying to light Sophia's cigarette for her. Sophia then changes things up and says that she wants Penguin to drive and for Victor to stay back, at which point Victor calls his girlfriend, who apparently he hasn't spoken to in a while. Sophia and Penguin meet with her crew, and she gives one of her men the diamonds from last week, before surprising Penguin with the fact that the shipment in question that he's been anticipating is all stuff from Arkham. He finds out that what she's been doing is growing a special kind of drug that's mushroom based, which will offer a completely different high than any other drug. Sophia wants Penguin to find her a distributor because she can't use her brother's contacts without getting in trouble with her brother for branching out on her own. Victor's girlfriend shows up at Penguin's place and is glad to see Victor after he's been out of touch for a while, but when she asks him where some of their other friends are, he lies and says he doesn't know, even though obviously the friends she's asking about are the ones who were killed when he and they tried to rob Penguin's car. She then unpleasantly surprises him, telling him that she's going to California because their school is underwater and she doesn't want to live in a FEMA camp anymore. And seeing that he's not happy about it, she says there's no reason he can't go with her and that they couldn't start over together. But he says he's not sure that his boss would let him go. When she doesn't understand why, he has to explain who Penguin is and how Penguin wouldn't want him to leave his employ, seeing as he's seen things. She tells him that that's all the more reason he should leave because he shouldn't be working for a guy like that. So when he gets the message that Penguin is coming back, he tells her she has to leave and gives her a bunch of money, telling her to get him a ticket and he'll meet her at the bus station. Upon returning home, Sophia is confronted by Vidi, and he says that she needs to get out of the country as her brother ordered before insulting her and saying that her trip to Arkham and her stay there was something she deserved. She pretends to be accepting of it and is told that she has 2 days to get to Italy, or that he's going to just tell people that that's where she went, not so subtly hinting that he's either going to lock her away in a room where no one ever sees her again or kill her. Sophia and Oz meet up in Chinatown to drop off a gift of some liquor to a contact that Penguin has, which he hopes will get him a talk with the leader of the Triad so that he can work up a distribution deal. It turns out that his contact isn't happy to see him because Penguin owes him money. Sophia shows Penguin's contact the new drug that they got from the mushrooms as Victor, sitting in the car, practices telling Penguin that he's going to leave. In the middle of his practicing, a cop pulls up behind him because he's parked in a loading zone and finds the money in his pocket. And Victor says to the cop that he doesn't know what he's talking about when he asks about the money. He doesn't have any money. And the cop takes that money and walks away, saying, "You're right, you don't," and telling Victor to tell his boss to move the car as soon as he comes out. In the meeting, Penguin tells his contact that Vidi has sanctioned Sophia's operation, which of course isn't true, and the contact asks for a call from Vidi for proof before agreeing to give a meeting with the guy that they want to meet. And Penguin agrees, of course, knowing that he probably can't deliver. Once Sophia questions him about this, he says that she just has to trust him. Victor then tells Penguin what happened with the cop, and Penguin says, "Welcome to the life," while they're at lunch, and Victor has trouble ordering because of his stutter, at which point the waiter finishes his sentence for him, causing Penguin to scold the waiter for doing that. When Victor tells Penguin that he doesn't have to do that, he says, "I know, but you should be doing it. You've got a fight inside you, kid, and you should let it out." The Penguin asks Victor for information about his family, and Victor explains that his father was a mechanic, but that he really wanted to be a chef. And Penguin honors his father by asking him his name and toasting to him, and says that his dad would be proud of him. Oz then approaches another patron at the restaurant whom he knows that Vidi is screwing and says he's going to need a favor and that it's going to sting. Then he and Sophia bust in on she and Vidi as they're getting down and they put the squeeze on him to make the call, to which Vidi responds by asking Sophia why she's engaging with Penguin after what he did to her and demeaning Penguin, prompting Penguin to leap on him and shove his phone in his mouth, causing it to break, and then telling him to just make the call. It would seem that he did, because the next thing we see is Penguin, Sophia, and Victor in the club with a bunch of ladies of the evening who are going to sell the drug in advance of the meeting with the head of the triad. Sophia then asks Oz if what he did for her Sophia then asks Oz if what he did to her was worth it, but we don't know what that is. And he kind of deflects it, at which point she reminds him that the head of the triad is there to see her, and that he needs to remember that, as the people in the club seem to be buying the drug and using it. The head of the triad, however, thinks that the risk is too high because of the Falcons' history with the triad, which pushed them out of Chinatown, and because he doesn't think he can trust Sophia since she was in Arkham. But Sophia explains how the people of Gotham are particularly downtrodden these days after what happened in The Batman, and that they have a psychological need for this drug, and explains that that's why it was given to patients in Arkham. One of the ladies of the evening approaches Victor to dance with her as the entertainment, which includes depictions of explosions, kicks off, reminding Victor of the night of the explosions. He gets bumped into in the confusion, and a traumatic flashback occurs, causing him to drop all the drugs, but the lady of the evening helps him pick it up. Sophia tells the head of the triad that whoever controls this drug will control the drug trade in Gotham, and that if he's not interested, that's fine, she'll go to other gangs. Penguin then finds Victor in the bathroom and tells them that the triad took the deal and that he's proud of him for holding his own over the course of the night. Penguin sees Victor texting on his phone, though, and discovers his plan and isn't happy about it, and tells him he can go if he wants to, but then Victor says he can't. Penguin gets really mad because it makes him feel like Victor feels as though he's being held hostage, and that that is the only reason he's working for him. He holds a gun to Victor's head and says that when he found Vic, he was nothing, but that if he wants to go and live a life of nothing instead of the life Penguin is offering him, he can. And so Victor takes off in Penguin's car, as Penguin just stays behind and drinks at the bar. Victor drives to the bus station, but ultimately doesn't get on the bus. Penguin tells Sophia that the deal went through and that they should celebrate, but she says that she's sure he'll manage to celebrate just fine without her. Penguin admits that he screwed her over and says that he didn't know that what happened to her as a result would be as severe as it was, and that he thought he was looking out for her. She calls bullshit and says that he's not really the better for it because he's not a capo or even a made man, but he says he made out like a bandit and he's got money and swagger and that it was worth it. He says he's sorry that what happened to her and that she means something to him. She says she doesn't know where to go from here and that she doesn't know how to trust him before offering him a cigarette after he lit it for her. And he says that he's just going to have to keep showing her how to trust him. Just then, Maroni's wife shows up with her guys and they draw down on Penguin and Sophia, saying that they know he's been trying to play them. Victor returns with the car and sees Penguin and Sophia on their knees at gunpoint, so he runs down Maroni's men with Penguin's car. Penguin then gets in the car and tells Victor to drive off, leaving Sophia behind, saying that it was incredible what he did. And that's where the episode ended. So I have to tell you, I was blown away by this episode. Blown away. I think it was fantastic. I think that the character they've got in this version of the Penguin is just an amazing character. He's so well written. And just the character that they've given this character is just fantastic. He's, a ruthless killer when he needs to be, and he's a criminal, but at the same time, he's a man of honor, at least to the people that he holds the closest to him. I mean, he he's double playing the Maronis and kind of double playing Sophia and the Falcons, and he lies to his business contacts, but at the same time, he really seems to care for Victor and he treats him well, like a brother, and just seems like a good guy, someone that you'd want to have as a friend, assuming he wasn't going to get you in trouble with the law. He doesn't take any shit. He doesn't let the people that he cares about take any shit. And he's brutally honest while at the same time being a total liar. It's just amazing the character they've written. But in other words, if he wants to tell you what's on his mind, he's going to tell you. And he's fearless. And I just love what they're doing with this character. Obviously, it has no resemblance to the character in the comic books or the movies other than the part where he's a criminal and a killer. But I don't care. I don't care. This show could be set anywhere. They could call it anything, and it would be fantastic. So I don't care. I really don't. And I think people should really try not to get hung up on nomenclature and setting and just love this show for the crazy ride that it is and for the fantastic writing that they're doing for Penguin and for that matter, Sophia. Her character is a crazy cool character. Everybody in this cast is doing a great job. The kid who's playing Victor is starting to grow on me. I'm starting to see where he's maybe figured out how to act by the third episode. So even that's improving. And next week looks like it's going to be crazy. We're going to see what happened between Oz and Sophia and her family and her. So I'm greatly looking forward to it. I just think this episode was fantastic. The scene in the restaurant is amazing. All the scenes between Penguin and Victor in this episode were just fantastic. And I just think this is a great show, and I think this Penguin character is fantastic. I'm repeating myself because I honestly don't know what else to say. I'm so blown away by this show and how they're depicting Penguin in it. So before I repeat myself anymore, I'm going to get out of here, but I will be back to do a breakdown and review of the next episode once it's released. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.